There has to be a perceived short-term detriment for you not doing something because we don't understand the long-term detriments of not picking up good habits. We don't understand the long-term detriments of most bad habits either.
We all know not to eat donuts all the time. We all know that we want to work out consistently. We all know we want to read those books. But that's the rider. That's the rational brain. The elephant wants to watch Netflix all the time.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was the incredible episode number 900. Hopefully it was incredible. It's incredible that we got to 900 episodes. Today, for episode number 901, Strategy Saturday. Change is hard, and here is why. Alan, you wanted to do this episode. I will let you lead this charge.
Strategy Saturday is always my favorite episodes. I am a strategist. And, okay, so for the longest time, Kevin knows this, I was having trouble doing my mobility consistently. So you've probably heard me talk about the 5 fundamental pillars of natural fitness: sleep, hydration, nutrition, training, and mobility. I had those first 4 on point to a pretty good extent, and then the last one kept falling off.
Can I tell a story?
Of course you can.
Yeah. Alan and I, when we were in Arizona for an event, we left the gym. And I'll never forget this. We were taking a left turn through a light. And I was like, how's mobility going for you? And what did you say? I don't even remember what you said.
I was like, I think it's pretty good, or something like that. I think it's like you've been foam rolling after that. Like you had like a follow-up question.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mobility. Like mobility. Yeah, no, I haven't been stretching at all.
It was really funny.
For those of you who don't know, by the way, mobility is broken into 2 sections. It's pliability and stretching, really. And so I wasn't doing mobility for quite some time, which we're now joking about, and yes. I got actually injured because of it. And so I needed to flip this around. I also, you've probably heard through the grapevine of this podcast, that I'm writing a book, and for the longest time I was having trouble staying consistent at writing my book. I was like 3 paragraphs a day on my PPT. I'm going to do this, but it was never happening. So I figured out why, and I figured out how. So I'm reading a book called Switch, and I've read this book before. Very, very powerful behavior book. It's how do you change your behavior? And there's this really powerful concept of the elephant, the rider, and the path. So in this analogy, in this book, the rider is your rational brain. That's the part that has clarity on where you want to go. So, my rider knows I want a foam roll, and I want to do long form stretching every single morning, and I want to write my book. That's the rider. The rider knows that. The elephant is your emotional brain. This is the part that wants peanuts all the time. And the third part is the path. And the path is your actual environment. And so what I used to do is I used to get up, and my foam roller would actually be up here in my office. But I wouldn't get up here into my office until after I already opened my emails, I already opened my texts, I already opened my WhatsApp, and I was already somewhat down the rabbit hole of my other work. So now I walk outside my bedroom, and right to the right we have our charging station, which has my AirPods, my phone there charging. I pick up my phone. Emilia's still sleeping, so I close the door behind me. Tucker's sleeping up in my office. His bed's right over here by my office, and so I'm staying quiet so he doesn't wake up. And I grab my phone, I grab my AirPods, I put them in. I immediately click on YouTube, and I go to my morning mindset workout. It's the first playlist, and it has 4 videos in a row that I adore, that I consider my morning mindset workout. I immediately walk over to the fireplace, which is directly to my left, and I flip on the fireplace so it's warmer, and I grab my foam roller. The yoga mats, both Emilia's and mine, are already out in the living room right next to the fireplace. Also, I have my laptop and my Remarkable and whatever book we're reading in book club sitting right on the coffee table right next to the fireplace as well, right near the fireplace, I should say, not right next to it. And so the moment I am done with my morning mindset workout, I immediately transition from the yoga mat and from foam rolling over to my Remarkable, and I start writing my book. Now, what I've noticed is that if I start doing social media or if I start opening my emails, or if I start falling down the rabbit hole before I write my book does not get written. But if I do those 3 paragraphs first and I get them done first, they always end up getting done. And so the idea here is we all have these goals and these dreams. If you listen to this podcast, if you watch us on YouTube, you have goals and dreams. And there is no one on earth, and we talked about this on the last episode, on episode 900, there's no one on earth who doesn't struggle with staying focused, who doesn't struggle with consistency, who doesn't, struggle with self-discipline. So how do you get yourself to actually do the things that you want to do? And what you need to do is set up your environment for success. So on the mornings when we traveled recently to one of our clients and dear friends' places, and my morning routine didn't work. I didn't foam roll. I didn't stretch. I didn't write my book. Why? Because I'm in a new environment. It's not set up for success. Another great example of this is I always brush my teeth in the shower. My toothbrush is in the shower. My mouthwash is in the shower. So it's called habit stacking, and it's called environmental design that really helps you actually stay consistent at the things that are most important to you. If I have to go up to my office while Tucker is up here trying to sleep and I wake him up trying to foam roll, chances are I'm not going to foam roll.
Yeah, when it comes to change, you have to get rid of as much resistance up front as you can, because there's always going to be resistance to change. It's interesting, Alan. I think back to when I was traveling for work and how difficult it was for me to consistently exercise. I never had, so for those of you out there who might not have used a pre-workout supplement, or maybe you're not big into the gym, if you have a pre-workout and you don't have a shaker cup, you have to pour it into like a Poland Springs bottle, and you need to make a funnel out of a piece of paper, and it's this whole thing, and I'm spilling pre-workout all over the place, and my headphones are dead because I haven't charged them. That was really hard. It was very, very hard for me to be consistent while on the road, especially when it came to diet and nutrition, because there's so much resistance to that. So I was on a podcast today. Shout out to Thomas Green. I've been on a show twice in the last 6 months. Awesome human. Great questions. He asked me, he said, hey, how do you think humans can be more consistent? And I said, that's a great question. I said, well, let me put it this way. We have over a dozen people on our team who track their habits every single day. And I said, do you think they track their habits because they want to? And he said, I don't know. Do they? And I said, no, I don't think anybody wants to. I said, I'll just talk about myself for a second. Everybody tracks at least a dozen habits. Right now I have 20 something. And I said, Thomas, I'd love to just tell you I'm more disciplined. I am more on point. I'm more consistent than most human beings. And maybe I am, but it's not because I want to be. It's because I'm seeking approval in some way, shape, or form. I have used the fact that I want to get approval from the team as an extra length for me to get that done. So everybody can see my stats. In our peak performance tracking, we have a dashboard. Everybody can see what Alan does. Everybody can see what I do. Everybody can see what Alessandro, Amy, everybody, all the way down the list. And I remember when I got my first 100% week, I said, oh, I don't ever want to not get that again. I don't ever want to not get 100% week again. And then people started saying, Kevin's the consistency guy. He's super consistent. And that locked into my identity. But the days I don't want to do something, today, for instance, last night is a great example. Last night, I worked from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. And I was sitting in my office at 7, and I said, oh my goodness, I don't want to do this stuff. I don't want to do this. I still have like 4 things left I have to do. And I said, but I can't knock at 100. I can't knock at 100 because everybody else is going to see it. So I am using my approval-seeking tendency as an emotionally driven human being, which I think most people are, as a benefit.
Hello, this is Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and we are well into 2022. And maybe you are not willing to have a repeat of the last 2 years. Or perhaps you've had an inkling for quite some time that you are destined for something greater than what you're experiencing in your reality right now. Maybe it's your business or your work, and you know that there's greater value and impact that you can have in your community. Or maybe it's love and connection that's been eluding you. Or perhaps it's your health and wellness, and you know that you can feel better, do better than this. Well, join us at Next Level Live, March 26th, a full-day immersion with experts in their fields to help guide you on how to bring your life to the next level. Looking forward to seeing you there.
So understand this. At the end of the day, we all require accountability in some way, shape, or form. Like Alan said in episode 900, everybody struggles with discipline. Everybody struggles with consistency. If your community doesn't have the accountability built in, you're probably not going to do the things long enough. And anytime you're trying to make a change, you're not going to have a big enough reason. So if you can build accountability, and I don't want to say shame, I don't want that, but public accountability. There has to be a perceived short-term detriment for you not doing something because we don't understand the long-term detriments of not picking up good habits. We don't understand the long-term detriments of most bad habits either. But if you have a community where there is accountability, you are way more likely to get it done. If I can tell you with certainty for myself, and this probably would go to the team and Alan as well, maybe not Alan because Alan doesn't really care in a good way, but also sometimes it jeffs him when it comes to his stats because it's like, well, whatever, it is what it is. I'm doing other things. But if my peak performance tracker became private, I guarantee I would not do the same amount of habits. I'm certain of it. I'd love to ego up and say no matter what I would, but I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't as a human being because the reason I'm doing it is because there's approval and there's accountability built in. So next time you want to make a change, make it public. Tell someone. I know in a lot of books they say not to do that. I don't believe that.
Same.
I don't believe that. It puts an extra level of necessity that you might not have. And you don't necessarily feel like you're just letting yourself down. Maybe when you're trying to change something, there's other people who have skin in the game too. And it's going to be way easier for you to follow through, to stop at the gym on the way home from work, to make the prospecting calls, to have the difficult conversation with your partner, whatever it may be. Find a group, find a coach, find something that will give you accountability, whether it's somebody else or a group or I don't know, whatever works best for you. I know for us and the human beings that we've studied, other human beings and public accountability in terms of being able to see your scores against other people has really, really, really paid off. So that is what I would recommend for you out there if you're struggling with change.
Everyone watching or listening to this, think of a time when you saw someone walking around their room late at night looking at their Fitbit. They wanted to win the step competition. They know that they're watching. I know that Emilia has an Apple Watch that her family gets notified every time she's exercising. And then she's like, we should get one of these for your mom so we get notified when your mom exercises. Let's do this thing together. Let's be a team. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So we actually have done, as you know, 5 different groups in group coaching, and the 5th one has been the most consistent, and we're trying to reverse engineer why. And this rider, elephant, and path explains it perfectly. So these are the 3 things. If you're not driving, write these down. Number 1, the rider needs clear goals and rational reasons why to do things. Again, the rider needs clear goals and rational reasons why to do things. Number 2, the elephant needs motivation, rewards, and accountability. It needs small wins. And it needs to be afraid to Jeff. It needs social accountability. Okay? Number 3, the path needs to be clear, easy, and with the least friction possible. Group coaching. Group 5, we have an app that makes it really, really easy. On the app, everyone can see everyone else's stats. And on the very first session, we said, listen, we're going to start you out small. We're going to start you with 6 habits. We used to do this in the first 4 groups. We did 12 habits, and it overwhelmed people, and no one tracked consistently except for a couple people the whole 3 months. So this time, we're going to do 6 habits, and if you can prove that all of you together as a team, again, accountable to each other, can get 75% average as a team, we're going to move you to 9. And then if you can do that for another month, for the last month, we're going to bump you all up to 12. So you're all counting on each other. Okay? And so the path was clear, the goals were clear, the habits were clear, and hopefully everyone in group coaching was learning how to design their environment also to stay consistent. And I can promise you that every single person in group coaching right now in group 5 is more consistent in group 5 than they've ever been in their entire life. Just like everyone on the NLU team is more consistent than they ever were prior to the NLU team, because it's by design. It's the rider, it's the elephant, and it's the path. And then on top of that, it's the identity, which is a whole nother conversation altogether. But just remember, the rider needs clear goals and rational reasons why. The elephant, be careful of peanuts off the path. No matter how hard the rider tries to keep the elephant on track, your emotional brain will go off the rails if you put peanuts in its peripherals. The elephant can overpower the rider too quickly. We all know not to eat donuts all the time. We all know that we want to work out consistently. We all know we want to read those books. But that's the rider. That's the rational brain. The elephant wants to watch Netflix all the time. Okay? So you got to make your path designed so that the elephant wants to stay on the path. Give yourself incremental small wins, make sure you have clear goals, and most importantly, make sure you have social accountability within your community. And that's why we create Next Level Nation. That's why we create group coaching. That's why we have the NLU team. That's why we have this podcast. And we want you to connect with other listeners because we're creating something that's designed to help you achieve your goals.
Last point to drive this home. Did I talk about the fitness? Did I talk about the gym? I don't remember if that was in the preamble or was that live?
That was live. You talked about it a little bit when you were working.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So recently, Alan and I have been talking about how we've kind of let ourselves go. You've heard us talk about that a little bit. That's kind of harsh, but I like to give myself a little bit of pain. And Alan and I were talking about it, and I said, you know what I'd really, if I really wanted to get results, I'd just throw it on my PPT. I would just say, I either did or I did not eat the right amount of calories for me to lose weight. And Alan said, okay, you want me to throw it on there? I said, absolutely not. I don't want you to throw it on there. Because if you throw it on there, that'll mean I have to do it every single day. And I have been. So I'm down 5 pounds or whatever it is. But that just speaks to the fact that once I know something is going on to my peak performance tracker, I know I have to do it. I know I will do it because there is that public accountability. And as I mentioned in this episode, it's also the expectation. It's the culture of our team. It is the culture that we track our habits here. And having that community expectation helps so much. If you don't have that, you are going to struggle more with your goals. You're going to struggle more with certain habits because you're not getting reinforcement from those people around you. If you are struggling with this, please join us March 26th, Worcester, Mass. We have some tickets still available for Next Level Live. Myself, Alan, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, Tori Aletto. It's a half day. It's only $97 for tickets. Wonderful, beautiful hotel. And keep this. If you have momentum in this year, right? We're in March right now. If you have momentum, keep it going, and this will help accelerate that. If you've fallen into a lull since the new year, this will bring you back to a new level of momentum. Everything you need to know is in the show notes below. Join us.
For a while there, only Group 5 was able to access the app and the NLU team. We are opening the app to anyone who wants it. And so if you do want the app, you can either email Kevin or myself or DM Kevin or myself. The champion of the app is Matt. We'll have him reach out. We'll have you get onboarded. Again, it's a simple habit tracker, but you're going to be a part of a community that tracks their habits. And it's easy to use. And if you want the app, please reach out, because at the end of the day, if you're out there and you're struggling with consistency, the truth is you're not going to achieve your goals without consistency. I'm just being very direct about that. If you can't be consistent, you can't achieve great things. You just can't. I've never seen it. It's not a thing. And if it is, it's winning the lottery, which only happens 1 in every 9 million Powerballs or whatever it is. So don't rely on luck. Rely on consistency, and the app will help you be consistent. It is designed for that.
And Next Level Nation, we are grateful for each and every one of you. Last week, I think we had 7,000 listens. So that's the highest week I think we've ever had in the entirety of this show. Thank you so very much. Please, 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 if you are finding value, leave us a review. We have a link right in the show notes where it'll take you to, if you're on Android, it'll take you to Spotify or another platform. If you're on Apple, it'll take you right to Apple Podcasts. And all you got to do is click a button and leave us a quick review. We just want to find more people like you who want to get to the next level. And the more people that we have, the better the community will be. there'll be somebody for you to connect with, and you can have an accountability partner or whatever it may be. So please leave us a review if you have the time. We love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out